What's going on, everybody? We're out here taking a class. I'm not even sure what it's called. Something with rifles and night vision with Will. It's really hot. I'm super tired. We're going to do little segments like this in between the, I guess, the evolutions. But suffice to say, in the last few hours, I've completely changed how my rifle's set up and how I'm shooting almost entirely. If that says anything about the merits of what we're doing out here. We're going to do a little bit more talking about the different iterations or the different exercises we were doing in depth in the shop, because I'm just too tired to do it today. So I'll see you back over there. What's going on, everybody? I'm Kevin with Custom Night Vision. Last week on Instagram, I posted a poll asking what kind of content you, the viewer, would like to see in the future. Y'all said y'all wanted to see more training content, so we're here to deliver. I think it was Friday night, a few days ago, I went and took a class with Will from Orion Training Group, and I actually don't remember the specific name of the class. I'm sure we'll annotate it somewhere here, but essentially it was a, not really an intro course. You know, after taking it, I wouldn't say that it was an intro course, but it was kind of a night vision and carbine combination class. And I don't really want to go into a whole lot of specifics about the different drills and stuff that we did, because that's, you know, his proprietary secret sauce. But I will discuss my experience and some of the kind of fundamentals that we worked on and some things that I learned through taking the class. But before I get started with that, because y'all like this kind of stuff, we're going to talk about the rifle that I used in the class and how it's set up. So this is my Knights SR15. I think we've discussed this gun in the past. Majority of the, I guess, short range classes that I'm doing, this is the rifle I'm using. Set up with an end gall up here. I thought about putting a raid on this, but the class snuck up on me so fast I didn't have time to go, you know, take this laser off and confirm with the new one, so I just ran with what I had. I've got a mod light over here with an OKW head, obviously an 18650 body. Mod light mod button in the HRF Concepts ramp. I really like this setup. I'm going to change it up a little bit based on some things I learned in the class, but for now, this gets the job done. Other than that, pretty standard SR15. Got the HRF magwell. One of these little modified Knight stubbies. Got this from a guy on Instagram. I think his name is like Robert Malone. I'll confirm that. We'll annotate it. He does really good work. These things are pretty sweet. I had to move that, and we'll talk about that more in a minute. This is actually an advanced armament can. There's a long story behind this can. It's about 15 years old. If you want to hear it, DM me on Instagram. I'll tell you all about it. It's pretty cool. Got the Aimpoint Micro and the Unity mount 226 with the G45 flip to center. I really like this setup for this kind of work. Reptilia pistol grip. I like this. It's compact. You know, it's a little too small for my hands, but I like it. B5 stock and multicam, of course, and the Haley Strategics sling. Really one of my favorite rifles. It's not a do-it-all rifle like you see all over YouTube, but for the kind of stuff we're doing, I like this one. I have other rifles for doing other stuff. But now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the class. So the class started actually before dark, and we did a lot of work with our helmets on, which I'm not used to when the sun is out. But essentially what we're training is like how to use your white light, you know, white light bypass with your night vision on. We're essentially shooting under the night vision the whole time with Viz laser, or shooting passively through a red dot. Got a lot of good reps doing that. After that was done, we took a short break, waited for it to get dark, and went into the night vision stuff. So like I said, I'm not going to talk specifically about the different drills we did, but I will tell you that this class focuses heavily on connection with the rifle and your sight picture, or your, as Will calls it, your vision. So I struggle a lot because I have ADD. I can't even focus on the camera while I'm doing this video on burning a hole through the target, even for the amount of time it takes for the buzzer to go off. So I get lost. I just see a big IPSC and I'm like, yeah, the dot's there. I'm going to send it. You know, if that guy's down, whatever. I'm not focusing entirely on my accuracy. It's just a personal issue, and it's something Will, and forgive me, I don't remember his name, the other guy that was helping out at the class, kept saying every time we check the target. So in my defense, I was tired, forgive me. But all in all, I was pretty happy with my performance. I'm gonna quote Will. He kept saying the same things, and again, it's hard for me to remember this stuff, but he said a few things over and over, one of them being, connection supports vision at the speed you want to shoot. Very heavy focus on building a proper connection to support the vision. And what he's talking about is something that I actually had to change in my own shooting style. I've been shooting the same way for probably 10 years. I've taken classes from, you know, insert every big instructor that you've heard of, and no one has ever addressed, I guess, the way that I shoot, because I assume nobody thought it was a problem. But historically, I keep my hand pretty far out on the rail. This is an 11.5. I don't know what the exact rail length is, but I'd have to say it's like 10 3/4, something like that, to give you frame of reference. I would keep my hand pretty far out here. This stubby was actually moved forward a full slot and a half. So you imagine where my hand is on the rifle. I can easily access my pressure switch for the white light, as well as get to the button on the in-gall, which, if you're not familiar with the in-gall, is up on the front, unlike other lasers. In doing this very early on, Will was like, hey man, did you bring any tools? And I was like, yeah, I always bring tools. I've got like a full toolkit in my Pelican, just in case something goes down. He's like, let's take that vert grip off your gun and move your support hand back. And he did a whole lot of demonstrations that felt like he was talking to me the whole time, because personally I saw a night and day difference in my performance based on this one simple recommendation that he made. So in having my arm out this far, I have pretty long arms, I'm forcing my elbow straight out, which is what I'm comfortable doing. But what he recommended was to bring my hand back and pull my elbows down like this, straight to the ground. This, per Will, is really the first thing I need to focus on when I'm building a connection with my rifle. Elbows to the ground like that. And it's very uncomfortable, because I've kind of burned some habits in through thousands and thousands of reps shooting the way I've always shot, to now change how I'm building the connection with my rifle, bringing my hand back and bringing my elbows down. It doesn't feel right, but in practice, especially when I was doing transitions or hammered pairs or a bill drill, I saw a lot less, we'll call it muzzle flip. I didn't see the dot or the laser moving around nearly as much. And when I transitioned from target to target, I had a lot less overrun and a lot less early entries, where I'm trying to predictively time where my point of aim is passing onto the target, and I'm instinctively pulling the shot early, trying to predictively or time my reticle reaching the target. With the new shooting style that I'm trying to implement, that I will from now on because it's better, I can have a more reactive shooting style. Obviously this, when you start really turning up the speed, you're going to have to shoot a little bit more predictively. But this whole class is kind of based around his school of thought, which is you need to be accountable for every shot you make. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. The end of the class was focused on the Lola assessment, and this really highlights this need to be accountable. So we've discussed connection with the rifle is going to determine how accurate you can be and efficient you can be with speed. From my perspective in this class that I took, there was a lot more focus on kind of a competitive shooting approach to weapon manipulation that I hadn't seen before. A lot of the other classes I'd taken in the past were, you know, kind of strictly combat focused. you know, you got to get on target and be fast, but we're not going to really go check and make sure you're hitting everything in the center of a B8 even at speed. It's like, you know, you got some Charlies, some Deltas, but like, you know, you made good hits, so we're not going to stress that too much. Essentially, in my experience, we would always turn up the speed until we're throwing misses, and then we dial it back a little bit and focus on the fundamentals. In this class, it was a lot more focused on making sure you had highly precise shots even at speed. That goes into the implications of speed and accuracy when speed trumps accuracy. So if that makes sense to you, it makes sense to me. There was a heavy emphasis on target focus, like I said, the connection building, or I guess supporting your vision. The last segment of the class, we focused on limit of liability assessment, or the LOLA assessment. And I'm going to be paraphrasing Will a little bit because he says these things over and over and over, and they should have been seared in my mind, but as soon as the camera goes on, I'm retarded. Essentially, can you see, identify, and justify taking a shot? And he takes it a step further and says, like, as a law enforcement officer, or maybe you're in a non-permissive environment in a military capacity, if you get put on the stand, like, without a reasonable doubt, can you say, like, I knew who that was, I knew what was in their hand, I was justified taking that shot? What holes can they poke in your story when you get up there and you have to defend yourself? Vaguely, what this meant in application was, at various distances, there's instructors walking out of a tree line, and they're doing different things, and we're taking notes about what they're doing and what's in their hands. And it was very eye-opening to see the limit of the capability you have even with really high performance night vision. So if you're interested in this kind of stuff, I know I've glossed over a lot of things, and I didn't want to get too specific for the sake of not taking anything away from the training they're doing at Orion Training Group. I think you should sign up for a class. I was absolutely blown away by the things that we did and the development that it forced me to undergo. I enjoyed it. I really appreciate them having us out and letting us film and do all this stuff. Go take a class, go sign up. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel. That really helps us out. Gives us the opportunity to do more stuff like this and bring you this free content so you can watch it. Get down in the comments below and say something, start a fight, I don't care, whatever. If you thought this was stupid, I want to hear about it. I doubt that's the case, but like it, share it. All of that engagement really helps us get this information out to more people. If you made it this far, we really appreciate you watching. Thank you. Have a great day.